Good morning, Sacred Discoverers. It is feeling like beautiful energy for the week ahead. We are definitely moving into spring energy, and I was talking. I was talking on some of these other ones how it feels like that energy is like birthing up through the soil. But what's really been coming in is that this energy is birthing through our being. So, what that means is like the lessons and all the stuff that we've gone through in the winter months, you know, the clearings, the healings, the integrations, all of that are now being birthed through us into who we are here and now. So, it is like this rebirthing process. But but it's more so like that phoenix rising. If winter had some dark moments for you or some harder times for you, which often it does because it's that more yin energy of feeling and being and slowing down and like allowing whatever needs to like bubble to the surface and then moving through it. um, it does get to almost be like this phoenix rising, and so we are experiencing the change and the new growth in our physical being. So that can be quite an interesting occurrence. You might have things from the past, like old injuries or old fears or old insecurities or things like that in the physical body that feel like they're kind of like popping up a little bit to be like, oh hey, I'm here. How do you want to work through me this time? Because maybe in the past we didn't do it. Well, let's just say this. Maybe in the past we did it with the knowledge and awareness we had in that time. And now we are in a place of different knowing and different knowledge and awareness. So we almost have this chance to like re-come at these same or similar situations with fresh new eyes. It's like, okay, this is your opportunity. Something similar is presenting. How would you like to move through with this now? How would you like to grow and change and be and love yourself through what is being presented in your body? So that's kind of cool. Or maybe with opportunities, and maybe opportunities or challenges that are around you in the world, but really, no. As I say that, really, no, I'm feeling like this is something about being present in your body and in your being. It is an embodiment piece. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the outside world will just help to mirror those things to you. So I thought we'd start with some cards. Let's see. Yes, okay. We're going to do a more and a less card. So what we need more of, what we need less of. I believe we did this a couple weeks back. Is this our more? Is that our more? We're doing more and more. All right, we are not doing a less of. We are doing more and more. I like it. Okay, ooh, and this one's like, me. So, okay. It has that voice, in case you wondered. Okay, so first card. Oh, the Judge. Interesting. So, what comes to me first with the Judges, I've had a lot of learning this last little bit about what the difference, like over the last year, I would say, what the difference between judgment is and discernment. Because previous, I would have thought that all judgment was kind of like bad or wrong. Like when we judge people, don't do that. Let everybody be who they are. Yes, okay. Yes, that is true. However, discernment is allowing people to be exactly as they are, loving them fully and completely, unconditionally. However, we get to choose how we want to participate. Does this person's energy feel good to me? Do I want to be closer to this person? Do I want to be further from this person? Am I neutral with this person? What intuitively comes up? So that's the difference between judgment and discernment. Discernment is a very good thing. Yeah. And it's not even necessarily about right or wrong. It's more about like that deep intuition of a knowingness of what is aligning for you and what is not aligning or doesn't feel good for you. So we'll take a peek just at the pictures again. Looks like there's a jaguar eye in that yellow. Hands kind of praying, or almost like it is praying, but it feels like a bestowal almost at the same time, that one. Kind of like an offering type card or receiving. And then this one's got the lions with the skull in there. So, yeah. Interesting. We'll read that one in a second. And let's just look at what the second card is here. Oh, the heart, of course. Of course. We've been talking a lot about heart energy. When I tap into love and light now, I tap into my sacred heart. And that's the place where I'm going to. So it makes sense that this is the energy that we are moving into as a collective, as we listen more and more to ourselves, and also as we come back more and more into our body and the embodiment of pure love and light. So beautiful. There's those people in the canoe in the center. The pink kind of like stars and light up there. It's a nest. Well, it looks like a nest. There's like straw with flowers and bits of like wheat grain and germs. And then we've got the pink all around it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Also, this reminds me, it's very similar to the card The Cave, which is interesting. So, we can think of the heart as kind of cave energy. One of my favorite quotes, I believe it's Joseph Campbell, is "The cave you feared to enter holds the treasure that you seek." So, yeah. Going into the sacred cave of the heart and feeling what's there. Okay, so let's check out the Judge card first. So we're more and more, which is neat with these ones. We're 14 is our first card. Almost there. Okay, the Judge. So this is something we want more of. So we'll be listening for those pieces within the reading that speak to us intuitively. I'll try to hold it here steady the whole time. The Judge, the critic, the diplomat, the advocate. The Judge has an incredibly important job. They work every waking hour of the day, helping us discern what is safe, true, and just. When this archetype remains unconscious or is captivated by fear, wise discernment turns into painful judgment of self and other. Ironically, the Judge's energy can be the seed of racism, bigotry, and fear-mongering. This is the Judge out of balance, building walls, separating from other. When the same discerning force is made conscious and healed, however, the Judge may be found advocating for civil rights causes, standing up for the underdog, providing resources for those in need, and forgiving again and again. Love is a deciding factor. Awakening this archetype is essential for the complex times we are in. Get your Judge in order. The world needs it. So it says, when light, discernment, advocacy, right action, and compassion, when dark, critical, punishing, unforgiving, and wall building. Okay, cool. Cool. I do want to mention with that reading, so with that reading, I'm going to just say straight up, I don't fully agree with the stance the author is taking. And I know that's awful to say, but when we play on that drama triangle, right? When we play on that drama triangle, victim, villain, rescuer, it's not super healthy, right? So yes, it's beautiful to advocate for civil rights. Yes, it's beautiful to stand up and do all these things. But if we are doing a right and wrong, this is the victim, that is the bad guy, I am the hero, like there's some distorted energy. So just be mindful of that with the way the wording is kind of worded here. I would say being in your heart center, speaking your truth, holding all equal, holding love for all, even if you don't agree with the other. This is an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Trying to allow everybody to be in their power, even when it feels like there's power plays going on. So holding yourself in your power, seeing others as also in their power, and they are either choosing or not choosing to participate in some way. So looking at where we hold our own responsibility, and of course there are times when we do need to advocate for like our children, or, you know, those that may not be allowed to have a voice. However, okay, so let's say it this way. This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. Let's just say knowing when there's a time and a place to stand up and advocate, really checking in with your ego, really checking in with your ego if you're coming in as rescuer and being honest with yourself, and really checking in if there's blame, shame, pointing of fingers, or putting someone through your lens in a lesser position or victim position. Can you start to look at them as whole, complete, and capable as well, even if they are not currently acting out that scenario? Can you hold them in that frequency of balance? Because your energy of lifting them just within your own mind and your own stories, and it's not that we're lying to ourselves, we're seeing them actually as whole, that you lifting them into that power point inside your mind and seeing them as that, helps to shift the energy of the scene, because we are creators and our energy does matter. So it's kind of like an interesting way of doing clearings. Like sometimes we'll clear energy and stuff like that when it doesn't feel good. But when we call everybody kind of into their power and as balanced, or even hold unconditional love for all. So this is something I do when I see things in the world or feel intuitively like, oh my God, there's some shit going down today. Like I just feel it in my bones. Like I will just be like, put the protection around the people and the items and everything that I feel that needs kind of protection. And then I even, like, I send love to everybody, even those that feel like they are the ones that are holding like that icky energy. I just put them in pure unconditional love as well, and kind of send that love out everywhere. And so, you know, I do allow for each person to hold their own power and hold their own energy and be in their truth and be in their strength. And again, like, I don't really want to come in as rescuer, but it's also coming to my attention for a reason. So I'm not there to rescue, but I am there to like balance the energy and harmonize inside myself with how I view the scene and the energy that I wish to put around each person. This is a real weird one today. This is a real weird one. Yeah, that actually gives me some stuff myself to think about. So look at how you're looking at situations. Look at how you're looking at situations. And clearly this is a good one for me too, because it is allowing me to really question what I'm saying as I'm putting it out there for you and feel in for myself. Okay, so on the side, it says, Gandhi has an incredibly illuminated inner judge. He was a lawyer. He practiced silence one day a week in order to hone his discernment while on his revolutionary path. That's cool. The judge's energy is contagious. When we feel judged, walls go up around us. Similarly, when we feel accepted, the entire world softens. Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. There's also, I don't have a coin here right now, but there's also an interesting thing that we learned. I can use this in the Czech, in the Czech world, Paul Czech. He has like this coin, and what it is like one side you'll see the positive aspects of things, and the other side you might see like the challenges or what you don't like about the same scenario. And so you can hold it in your hand and like look at all the positive ways of looking at the situation. Flip it over, yes, you can see some of the negatives or what could be kind of like switched or changed, or, you know, that doesn't feel good. And then there's looking on the outer rim, which I think is like the possibilities. So you can just do that with a coin at home when you're kind of like looking at a situation or judging something, you know, or just want to expand your views on it and see if that helps. Sometimes having more information can feel very helpful, and sometimes having more information can feel very confusing. So, yeah, the judgment one is interesting. This is going to be a card that is also hanging out with me a little bit. Hanging out with me a little bit. So feel in through your week and yeah, see what you notice. I like this jaguar eye. It does feel like an all-knowing eye, especially with that yellow light around it. And I feel like that is just like trust your intuition. So like as I'm explaining things, I can feel these bits of like stories and learnings and all of that coming in. But at the end of the day, what I'm always doing is listening to my highest intuition in how to move through things. And again, like all the lessons I have learned like up until now have made me who I am in this moment. Who is that person now, and how do they relate to this card kind of presenting itself? So yeah. Okay. Okay. So interesting. Yeah. And the one hand is like, stop. Oh, like I was saying, it looks like praying, but also I was thinking like a bestowal or like a stop, like a hand to say stop. And then the offering, and the receiving is also like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready to be open to this. Right. So, and then there's just like the death, like, let's not do that. Oh, so interesting. Okay. So those were our pictures on the card. Let's go into the heart. 31. And thank you for letting me be real with you guys. Definitely, yeah. It's interesting sometimes to see other people work through their stuff too, right? Because we all have it. So, the heart. Actually, I'll read this one. The home, the center, the throne. It is possible from an imaginary point of view to sense that the heart has a place. Either we are there, within the realm of expansion and compassion, or we have drifted somewhere else. There is no in between. It is common for us to leave this archetypal center without realizing it, as the world with its seductive twists and turns offers us frequent departure. We may even become a stranger to the landscape of the heart, leaving it vacant for long stretches of time. The seat of the heart is often reclaimed by nature, music, and dance, and the presence of children and animals. This card encourages us to move past the layers of life's tangles and knots and enter the wild and sacred center of the self. This most precious throne in the galaxy is awaiting your return. When light, expansive, knowing, gentle clarity, when dark, fraught, tangled, and betrayal. Recall the last time your heart was touched. Soak in every detail you can and feel the heart awaken. And then the other side says, some say there is a cave. Oh, I said that. Some said there is a cave at the center of the heart. Others say it is a pool with a flowering white lotus. Imagine yourself there and draw what you see. Lovely. Lovely. What's coming for me with this card, and this could just be my particular self-reading, is like deep acknowledgement. So I'd mentioned to you before that like this winter was very intense and very deep for me. I've done like a 2-year kind of like shaman training, and like, as you know, like shamans die and rebirth and die and rebirth and die and rebirth, like over and over and over again, and that is part of their path. And that had been very much a part of my path, and it was heavy and it was hard and beautiful at the same time. And coming out the other side, like I feel like I am just catching my breath after the intensity of that, and it's neat because like that sense of appreciation of all that I gained from it is just starting to come now because of the sheer intensity of it, of almost like a survival in doing what you need to do, though it was done in a very loving and like, I want to say etherical plane, but it was also very much done in this physical plane. And so the heart energy is just like that, coming back to being me, coming back to being me, pure and innocent and loving, and also with gratitude. So I'm gonna just put that out there to feel into gratitude. And I know it's so simple and it's so cliche and it's so like back around to the very beginning of where you probably started your your healing or your self work stuff, right? Like, affirmations, chakra stuff, and yeah, anyways, that gratitude feels like it's important to come back to, especially if we've experienced some deep, deep lessons, right? Like if that winter was hard for you, feeling where you are now and the spring growth that is coming. And yes, some of that growth is like just starting. So it can feel like the reward maybe hasn't fully come yet, but we're getting glimpses of it and we're getting to taste it and we are getting to feel it more and more. It may not be full bloom of like summer yet, but we're getting to feel that beauty. So it really is like, instead of having your attention maybe be on the pain or be on the challenge, as that's maybe been in before, or maybe even in your healing journey, you've been one of those people that focuses on like, oh, that next piece shows and now I work on this, and oh, that next piece shows and now I work on this, and we're constantly like overcoming. And while that is beautiful, that overcoming also becomes a bit of like, not necessarily an addiction, though maybe it could be, but it becomes a pattern that we start to really get stuck in, of always looking for something wrong or always like noticing that next thing that we need to do. And so we're not necessarily in appreciation or gratitude. We're like, well, what's the next step? How do I get ahead? It's still that not enoughness, or focusing on where there is a lack. And so there will always be a little bit of balance. Like that's the harmony of life, is it can't all be bad all the time, and it can't all be like light all the time. It gets to be this beautiful ebb and flow, but we do get to discern, right? We do get to discern or decide which energy we want to bloom forward with, right? Like, are we going to continue growing the roots down in the dark, which is of course beautiful, or are we going to allow ourselves to like grow up and blossom into the sun? Or of course, like, the balance would be, can we do a little bit of both, but allow ourselves to be harmonized and balanced in the love of the heart, doing the work through self-love rather than hints of not enoughness or lack, because those are still distortions. And when the judge comes in, like, the distortions are big. Noticing the distortions is big, and not that it's another piece of work you need to do. However, we are constantly refining, right? Like the little bud comes out of the ground. I've got lots of little greens coming up, and tulips coming up, and it's neat because there's leaves covering on the ground still, because I leave them down over the winter for the bugs and stuff like that. And so as the flowers come up, especially the tulips, like sometimes they're spiky and they will like poke through the dry leaves, and like they'll grow the dry leaves like kind of up them, and it's like that debris is being carried on them. And so I can leave it or I can brush it off. It doesn't much matter outside. But the idea is, with your growth, is like, are you taking some of that debris with you? And maybe it served you at one point, but now maybe it is not useful. So again, with that discernment, with our intuition, we can feel and just let go. But it doesn't have to be the searching for what's wrong or what's next, or what am I doing that isn't serving me, or that's like that self-blame almost. Like, what am I doing that's keeping me stuck in this pattern? Like, no, just feel what you feel, allow it to come. Do so with love and grace and ease, and there's no race. Everything you need to know will be shown to you in the right time. Really being in your heart and trusting that deep intuition and that judgment, that discernment, because it will lead you, but it can be so simple. It can be so simple. It doesn't have to be as serious. It doesn't have to be as complex as maybe we've made it be in the past. And perhaps that's a lesson that we simply allow, right? It's like setting down that backpack. We just got to simply allow. So that feels nice. Okay. We are not doing more today. I didn't know if we'd do some sway or emotion code, but that's it. Let's see, any other messages? No, just like I love you. Spirit's like I love you. And I love you, and I thank you so much for being here. Connect at any time, and have a beautiful week ahead. Have a beautiful week. Bye.